How's it hanging, guys? Dan the Man here, and Pokemon! In honor of Pokemon's 20th anniversary, and my channel reaching 50 subscribers, I'm counting down the top 10 Pokemon of all time. What a coincidence! A few ground rules first. Number 1, no legendary Pokemon on this list, as, well, let's face it, if they were on the list, then we wouldn't have much room for anyone else, now would we? Ha ha ha! And number 2, please note that these are my personal favorite Pokemon, and that there are over 720 Pokemon right now. So chances are you may not see some of your favorite Pokemon on this list. If you don't see your favorite Pokemon on this list, you can just leave it in the comments below, along with the hurtful comment about how I'm the worst person in the world for not including your favorite Pokemon on this list. Oh, and spoilers, by the way. All the Pokemon on the thumbnail of this video, yes, these lovelies, they're not on the list. With that out of the way, let's get started. I'd like to recite a famous quote. Choose your friends with caution, plan your future with purpose, and frame your life with faith. When choosing your starter Pokemon, it's important not just to look at their base forms, but also what their final evolution form looks like in the future. Now let me ask you this. Would you rather be stuck with a fire ferret, a dinosaur herb? No, I'm not kidding. I did my research. It's known as the herb Pokemon.
Well, I'll be a
monkey's uncle.
Or a big alligator with a giant mouth that can shoot water and bite through almost anything. If you chose option 3, congratulations. You're not completely and utterly hopeless. For Alligator, the final evolution of the starter Pokemon Totodile is by far the strongest Gen 2 starter, with the ability to learn Hydro Pump, Crunch, and Ice Fang, and the coolest looking of the 3 final evolution phases. Not to mention it has type advantage over Typhlosion, and if you think it has any problems taking down Herb Brooks, then you'd be sorely mistaken. For Alligator's bite is definitely worse than his bark, as well as a great teammate, and that's enough to put him at number 10 on this list. Not to mention that big, blue, moisturous, beautiful snout! I mean, look at it! That's a grade A snout right there if I've ever seen one. At number 9 on the list, we have Bronzong. No, I said Bronzong, not Bronzedong! Bronzong!
You friggin' dingus.
Bronzong is a Steel Psychic type Pokemon, which makes it special right off the bat. But the real reason that it's number 9 on this list, instead of any other Gen 4 Pokemon, is its origin. According to the Pokédex entry from Diamond, Bronzong was discovered buried deep in the ground, where it was sleeping for 2,000 years. I guess you could say it was taking a dirt nap. Thank you, I'll be here all week. Send me fan mail and also money and video games, as I'm broke and I have no good games. My address is 123 Main Street, Springfield. It's also known for, according to the Pokédex entry from Platinum, bringing rain to crops during times of drought. Now you're probably wondering how it brought rain. Did it do a little shimmy shammy rain dance and then... Nope, it opened portals from other worlds where it just happened to be raining. Now, if that's not the definition of a true saint, I don't know what is. Where was it during my Eagle project? So many crops not watered. So many sad children. Bronzong! Why did you leave me? Why? Bronzong! Bronzong! Sure, I could talk about how it's basically a ninja with claws, and yes, I could also mention how it can learn some pretty awesome moves like Bullet Punch, Metal Claw, Razor Wind, and Double Punch. By the way, can someone please explain to me why it's called Double Punch when in fact, on more than one occasion, precisely, and
So annoyingly.
it hits more than twice. But Scizor is on this list because its attributes make it almost invincible to the wild. Although the ninja looks and the cool moves don't hurt its chances by the by. It can hold its eye-patterned pincers up to trick foes into making them think it has 3 heads. And those wings on its back? What if I told you they're not for flying, but instead for regulating its body temperature? So cool. But actually, it is pretty amazing that if it's too hot, it can make itself cooler just by flapping its wings. And its mega evolution? Well, let's just say that I hope you brought an extra pair of XL bloomers on you, because it's so cool that it's guaranteed to make you pee your pants in giddiness. And then all the kids on the playground will laugh and call you Tinkles for the rest of the time in school. I don't want to talk about it. Now, I felt kinda sorta guilty that when coming up with this list that no Gen 5 Pokemon made it on. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the designs for Gen 5 kinda sucked. I mean, look at this.
Look at this!
This Pokemon is just a pile of trash with eyes and a mouth. His name even sounds like garbage. Garbodor? I know the whole point of the game is to catch them all, but why would anyone want to catch Garby Busey over here? It doesn't make any sense! What has this world come to? But I digress. Number 7 goes to Victini. Because of its combination of fire and psychic abilities, it's number 0 on the black and white Pokédex, meaning that it's before the Gen 5 starters. Its name basically means Tiny Victory. And according to the black and white Pokédex, no matter what type of Pokemon it goes up against, it will always be victorious. I mean, clearly that's a lie, and anyone who believes it should have their 3DSs dragged out onto the street and set on fire. Now, I felt kinda sorta guilty when coming up with this list that no Gen 6 Pokemon made it on. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the designs for Gen 6 kinda sucked. I mean, look at this!
Look at this!
This Pokemon is just a keyring. How did they make a 20-minute Pokemon special based off a keyring? I know the whole point of the game is to catch them all, but why would anyone want to catch Alicia Klefkeys over here? It doesn't make any sense! What has this world come to? But I digress. Seriously, repeating joke aside, number 6 goes to Aegislash. It's the only character in the Pokemon roster that it's both Ghost and Steel, but let's be real here. Aegislash makes number 6 because of its design. I feel no other Pokemon has the mystifying, spooky medieval feel that Aegislash has, especially with such moves as King Shield, Night Slash, and Sword Dance! Oh, and did I mention that it has 2 different forms? It can either take the offensive in Blade form, or it can play it safe on defense with its Shield form. Whoa, 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 whoa! 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 Okay, so first you rip off Mario, and now you're ripping off Transformers? Aegislash would have definitely been the best Ghost-type Pokemon if it wasn't for the next entry on the list.
Who's that Pokemon? It's Mewtwo!
Mewtwo.
Now, if any of you have seen my top 10 unexpected disturbing things in video games, which I highly recommend you do, by the by, as I do things like this. Oh my god, please don't help me! Oh my god, no, what the fuck, get away! Ah! You'll notice that Haunter made it onto the list, and it looks like it finally arrived for its encore performance at number 5 on this list. According to his Pokédex entries over the years, it has complete camouflage in the shadows, and if it licks you with its tongue, you'll shake until your untimely demise. You're probably wondering why I put Haunter on this list instead of Gengar, Haunter's next and more powerful form that can even Mega Evolve. Well, I chose Haunter over Gengar for 3 reasons particularly. 1. In the anime, Ash needs a ghost Pokemon in order to beat Sabrina, the psychic gym leader, and free his friends after they get turned into dolls. So he goes to a creepy mansion to catch a ghost Pokemon, and who does he eventually team up with? Gengar? Haha, nope! Ghastly? Come on, that's stupid. How could Ghastly even help? It doesn't even have any hands. You friggin' idiot. Stupid Ghastly with no hands. No, Ash relies on Haunter instead, and with his help, saves his friends and wins the badge. I mean, after all, you can't spell team without Haunter. Well, at least the E, and the A, and the T. Second, I like Haunter's design more, whereas Gengar kinda looks like an angry purple Clefairy.
Menacing.
Haunter has more of an evil ghost look, since he's just a head and hands. And third, in order to actually get Gengar in the Pokemon game, you had to trade with your friends. And I have no friends. Now, when I first started making this list, I thought that Scizor was going to be the best bug Pokemon, but upon hours and hours of extensive research, I finally came to the conclusion that the best bug Pokemon is Heracross. Heracross is kind of like that one-hit wonder. Its one defining attribute is its single horn, and if it wasn't for that, combined with its massive strength, it wouldn't even qualify as an honorable mention. But
Holy guacamole, Batman.
is that one strong horn. It was capable of lifting up Team Rocket's tank, throwing it straight up into the air. That's not a surprise though, as it can easily throw an object 100 times its weight. Now, even though it may look as strong as John Coffey from the Green Mile, it's actually as docile as, John Coffey from, you know, the Green Mile. It's also a huge honey lover, but don't try and get between it and its honey, because if you do, boom! It rams its horn straight up where the sun don't shine and throws you straight out of Compton. With a steel hard shell, it's easy to see why you can't spell Hercules without Heracross. At least the first 3 letters. And the C. And one of the S's. Did I do this joke already? I did. I did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for doing this joke already. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll leave now. It's no surprise that if you're playing Pokemon, you clearly want to be the very best, right? Like no one ever was. Then you're gonna need a strong team. Sure, you may have 5 level 100 legendary Pokemon, in which case if I ever go up against you, I'll just forfeit right then and there. I quit. No, I just quit. I quit. Just take my 12 Badoos. I couldn't get them to a high enough level. But you're only as strong as your weakest link. And that's really what Pokemon's all about. Not dominating everyone with a satanic control team, but training all your Pokemon from nothing into a team that dominates everyone because you have a satanic control team.
You friggin' dingus.
And after all that hard work training Magikarp, who sucks and does absolutely nothing, it finally evolves. At level 20! I caught it at level 5! Into the
Atrocious Gyarados.
No, seriously, its species is atrocious. Like that's what it says in the Pokédex. I find it hilarious that a Pokemon as weak and pathetic as Magikarp, Magikarp is more like it, friggin' Magikarp, evolves into Gyarados. I mean, look at this. Without a doubt, Gyarados is one of, if not the strongest non-legendary Pokemon of the bunch. It's gigantic and easily susceptible to lose its cool. And when it goes on a full rage, it won't stop until entire cities are destroyed. It can and will incinerate all of its targets with its powerful Hyper Beam. The only reason it's not higher on the list is that yes, it may be the strongest non-legendary, but once it gets enraged, not even its trainer can calm it down. A good Pokemon must know its boundaries, but Gyarados is like, screw that! I'm a fire in my leg! Oh, and its Mega Evolution gives it wings? But then why is it a flying type in its base form, but not in its dark form? And why isn't it a dragon type? It knows dragon type moves! This world, it's just too confusing. What happened? Where did I go wrong? Oh hey look, it's Charizard! At number 2. on my list of the top 10 Pokemon. And not number 1. Now before you come at me with your pitchforks and torches and nooses and all that, hear me out. No, Charizard is not number 1 on this list. But, I have a completely reasonable explanation, which I'll get to at number 1. But just because Charizard isn't number 1 doesn't mean that he's a terrible Pokemon. No, far from it. It made number 2, and that must mean something. It's friggin' Charizard! Other than Pikachu, Charizard is the face of Pokemon. It's strong, fast, and a hell of a fighter. It can melt almost anything, including boulders and materials originally believed unmeltable. However, Charizard has some sense of sportsmanship too, as it refuses to use its flame on any weaker Pokemon.
Oh, what a gentleman.
I think it's also noticeable to point out that before Pokemon Yellow, it couldn't learn Fly. No, that makes sense. I mean, it has wings. And we've seen it fly in the anime. And somehow, an average human can easily be flown into the sky from location to location by a 1-foot 4-pound Pidgey.
Why can't I fly on my Charizard?
And it's one of the only Pokemon that has 2 Mega Evolutions. I have my preference, let's see if you can guess. Charizard is without a doubt one of the greatest Pokemon of all time, and it's no mystery why it's number 1 on so many lists. But why not mine? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. This is normally the point when I get to the honorable mentions, but because this is such a joyous occasion, what with it being the 20th anniversary of Pokemon and me reaching 50 subscribers, and the fact that there's so many honorable mentions, I think it's time that I bust out my Papa-Rappa hat and Poke-Rap these honorable mentions. Ready? Let's go!
Eevee, Alakazam, Aerodactyl, Cavita, Omastar, Tyranitar, Steelix, Typhlosion, Crobat, Houndoom, Bygone, Swampert, Salaman, Blaziken, Electivire, Darkchomp, Krookodile, Stoutland, Bisharp, Golurk, Volcarona, Hydreigon, Zoroark, Haxorus, Esper, Holucha, Zygarde, Tangoro, Tyrantrum, Missigno. That's it. That's all the honorable mentions. Stop the music!
The world of Pokemon. It's not about following the status quo by journeying through the main storyline. It's not about completing the game 100%. And contrary to popular belief, it's not about catching them all. Because you have no life if you're thinking of catching over 720 Pokemon. Seriously, reconsider your life choices. No, it's about the bond that you make with the Pokemon that you catch. It's knowing that you'll always have your Pokemon's back, and it will always have yours. I always chose Charmander as my starter Pokemon, but I never really had that bond with it. There's only one Pokemon that evolved from hard work and dedication, one Pokemon that helped me through almost every game, and the one Pokemon I consider the best Pokemon. But most of all, I know that I can count on this Pokemon to help me out of some of the toughest roadblocks, as the bond with this Pokemon is a you'll scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of bond. That Pokemon is none other than Golem. When I first caught Geodude, I thought of it really only as a Pokemon to fill my 6 Pokemon roster until I got better Pokemon. But after using Geodude in battle, as well as it being the only Pokemon able to get me past Misty, which doesn't make any sense, I grew very fond of it, and decided to focus all my effort towards it. Whenever it was poisoned, I gave it an antidote. Whenever it fainted, I rushed it to the Pokemon Center as soon as the match was over. I really cared about this Pokemon, and it showed. When it evolved into Grappler, I was overly ecstatic, but not so much so as when my friend and I actually used link cables to trade Pokemon, just so that my Grappler would evolve into a Golem. With Golem on my side, we got through the rest of the game, including Giovanni, the Elite Four, and Farthole Magoo. From right on, I made sure to catch a Geodude just so I could relive the experience all over again. And hey, with the new Pokemon Bank system that lets you transfer Pokemon between games, as well as the Pokemon Sun and Moon games coming out soon, it looks like mine and Golem's adventure is just getting started. Hey, don't move your pretty faces yet, because be sure to stay tuned after the video for a preview of my next, all-inclusive, and totally original Top 10. Did you like the video? Of course you did, because it's Pokemon! Be sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do you agree with my list? Probably not, because Charizard wasn't number 1. Have an idea for a top 10? Or do you just want to talk about how stupid I am? Leave it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching not only my top 10, but my 50 subscriber special. It meant so much to me. I can't believe I reached 50, you guys. This is actually, like, big. I never thought I was going to reach 50, guys. I mean, like, come on. 50? That's like 2 digits with a 5 and a 0. With 5 first and 0 second. I'm just going to shut up now. Until next time, stay lovely. On the next Top 10.